automotive interior designer, and we're here at Art Center College of Design. For my senior thesis, what I really wanted to focus on is the Mazda MX-5. My first internship was with Mazda Design North America, and I learned so much about just the essence of that brand. What I wanted to do was really explore how does the core car, their halo car, the MX-5, transition from where they are today to an electric platform, and really capture that core Mazda DNA as it evolves into this electric car. So what I wanted to do was introduce this concept of multi-dimensional drive and really being able to control the car through paddles on the steering wheel and possibly have self-articulating winglets in the back, and this would create a different level of drive while you're in the vehicle. And for me, I believe this appeals to my generation, being the video game generation, and how we can possibly interact with a vehicle. One of the key factors for me was really thinking about this idea of subtract everything and forget nothing. This is the essence of a Mazda, and especially the MX-5. It's really the essential, minimal, the one halo car that's for everybody. What I really wanted to do was focus on creating this central driver's unit, and this is basically just trying to encapsulate the driver in this environment of just really being wrapped around the steering wheel is your connection with the road, and really just bridging the divide between you and the road. Essentially, when you're sitting in the car, you have this interior-exterior relationship. There really is no disconnect between you and the road when you're in an MX-5. For these renderings, I built the model in Alias, and I actually took them into Autodesk VRED for the lighting to really get that feeling of being outdoor. Presenting today my Audi interior project. This was done as a side project on my internship with Volkswagen Design Center Potsdam. It's really exploring how to challenge the Audi brand as we know it. What I did was I introduced this concept of flux culture. So really this act of being in two states at once. As you approach the vehicle from the exterior, you would see a dominance of red. And as you enter the interior, you'd be kind of overwhelmed with this gray space. And essentially this is supposed to be an experience that only the owner of the vehicle can really have. So really having two portions or two sides of the same coin. What's special about this concept is this is designed as a project to really challenge the Audi brand. So essentially what we would do is kind of challenge what we know as Audi and defy their conventions. This is a completely autonomous vehicle, but with the nature of Audi, it's important that you can actually take control of the vehicle and really grab the reins on driving this vehicle. And where it is right now, it is benchmarked to an Audi A7. This would be essentially what we know today as an Audi A7. So it is very important for the owner to really have that unified experience with the vehicle. This red fabric over here enveloping the cabin would be fused with fiber optics. So you would have a interaction between this. So this texture, which was inspired by kind of fashion trends right now, what I've been seeing kind of on the runway and so forth, this would be something that can move. So as you can see in each image, it's actually quite different. So it would add that extra level of depth as you drive, maybe even creating the ambiance of an outside environment that may not actually be there. I really love this Citroën Cactus. I think it's probably one of the more revolutionary things we've had in an interior to really look at something like that. What I wanted to do was imagine what would happen when you have the Citroën Cactus lineup, if they were to expand that into a sub-brand and really see what could happen if this Cactus was actually transitioned into a smaller vehicle. So what I did was I benchmarked the Volkswagen Polo. Essentially, this would be a smaller Cactus, still for the city and still carrying all the foundation of the C4, but looking at it on a smaller platform. And what I wanted to do is actually develop a simplified concept that you could base all the Cactus sub-brand on. So really the concept is to identify a primary geometric form, take that, find an axis upon that primary geometric form, identify that, slice it, and then you would offset the two surfaces and bridge between the two. And this would be the core foundation on which you develop all the themes and forms for this. So I used that to actually develop some of the initial sketches and then further into the Photoshop renderings. And then finally to this design here. The core idea behind this design is how do you create a vehicle for the youth market with absolutely no technology, devoid of technology. So I wanted to remove all the screens and then essentially figure out how can this still be appealing to a younger generation. So what would happen is that this younger generation would bring their own devices. These devices can stay up to date and basically integrate into the Cactus ecosystem. Ultimately, I designed the UX UI so that it would be based around the idea of sharing your Cactus, interacting with your Cactus, and more importantly, your Cactus would actually anticipate your needs. So if you're on a run and your wearable is telling your iPhone that your heart rate is up and you're near your car, basically this car would start to anticipate your needs. Well, the way I see Cactus is as a fashion-conscious area of the Citroën brand. Citroën is kind of they have always been kind of the quirky, slightly maybe off-of-center version of interiors, and especially most recently they've evolved into doing the DS brand, which is very kind of progressive, modern fashion. What I wanted the Cactus to be was kind of a little bit more to identify with what we see as a utilitarian side of things. So a lot of the functions on this car, a lot of the design of this vehicle is really based on minimalizing things to the point where it's always a clear message, and this is something that I hope translates across even into the final theme.